Okay, so we're going to go through the saga of the ACH claiming WWE was racist story from last year, 2019. And this happened before I had my YouTube channels. This is my first opportunity to really talk about it. Um, Albert Hardy, or Albert Hardy Jr., aka Jordan Miles, used to wrestle in ROH. I was a pretty good. I was a fan of him in ROH. I loved the team that he had with uh was he a team with Kushida? I think. I know Alex Shelley was, but I think he might have been as well. But I was a pretty good fan of him in ROH, and I was excited he was coming to WWE, and that turned into a fucking nightmare. I mean, they pushed him pretty hard when he came in. He won the breakout tournament, and things just went downhill from there after he lost to Adam Cole. It just really it soured and went down. So we're gonna go through. I'm going to go through various articles. There's going to be quite a few. Um, but I'm going to give you some details for the people who don't know. I am black from Detroit. This story, I'm sensitive to the racial issues that Jordan Miles discussed, but I knew this was bullshit from the beginning. I knew it was bullshit. I mean, you can just tell. I'll tell you near the end of how I knew it was bullshit. But let's go through the story. We're going to start with Uprocks. Um, so yesterday, which would be October the 27th, 2019, we posted about a controversy over a discontinued t-shirt that WWE designed for NXT superstar Jordan Miles. Now we'll get to the whole Jordan Miles thing. Miles called out a t-shirt in WWE as an organization for being racist against black people, and lots of folks on Twitter supported him. Late last night, WWE released a statement that was the opposite of an apology, and Miles has since responded. WWE's full statement. Albert Hardy Jr., aka Jordan Miles, approved this t-shirt for sale. As always, we work collaboratively with all of our performers to develop logos and merchandise designs and get their input and approval before proceeding. This was the same process with Albert, and we responded swiftly once he later requested that the logo t-shirt be redesigned. No t-shirts were sold. Okay, Miles responded by tweeting about his interactions regarding the shirt with WWE employee Baker Landon, as well as Triple H himself. This is from Jordan Miles. When I originally saw the design, I was uncomfortable. Rather than addressing the issue, I decided to counteroffer with another. Baker Landon lied to my face. He said Triple H wanted this design, so my hands were tied. I spoke with Triple H in person, and his impression was I improved. In other words, some middle guy named Baker Landon told ACH one thing, he believed it, and approved the shirt. So in other words, he approved the shirt. Okay. And he went public with this whole ordeal, and ended up being a lot of people. I was about to say, like, virtually the whole fucking internet jumped on ACH's side on this, claimed WWE was racist. There was a couple of his friends in the business that kind of supported him. Even people who worked in the WWE, Cedric Alexander being number one, with the whole for the culture hashtag that ACH started when he was going on his rampage. This was a really ugly system. So let's continue to the story. He even included a screenshot of an email with Landon. Don't believe me? Email him and ask him yourself. His rhetoric only gets more direct from there as he continued to tweet about the topic. The whole WWE system is fraud. Jordan Miles said. They created this system where you can't trust anyone. You grow cold and you grow apart from what you love the most. The fact that Hulk Hogan is still employed after giving the locker room an apology for being caught says enough. Hashtag for the culture. He also tweeted a video, but then deleted it. I think this is the video where he says WWE doesn't care about black people. He also did a video where he says that Jordan Miles was his slave name, even though he created the name Jordan Miles, because he said that the name came from Michael Jordan, who is his favorite basketball player, and Miles because they still have so many more miles to go, or something like that, like a traveling man, like a journeyman type of thing. But he created the name and then said that the name was a slave name. That's absolute bullshit. He also criticized Ring of Honor, where he worked from 2012 to 2016 for the treatment of black wrestlers who aren't Jay Lethal, although he deleted the tweet too. The tweet says, "Fuck ROH too. They only allow one African American to be the top guy, while guys like Cedric Alexander and Malcolm Velli, who is also in NXT, and myself had to chase the visible carrot stick. Name another African American who has reached great heights there other than this Uncle Tom, and it's a picture of Jay Lethal. Jordan Moss continues to tweet as this situation develops, and it's hard to imagine where it might go next. WWE is probably hoping if they keep Jordan employed but off TV and make no further statements, this will blow over. Given Jordan's tweets and the activism from others that's springing up around them, however, that seems increasingly unlikely. That last paragraph is bullshit. They probably didn't want anything to do with him. Now, after all this happened, I saw MVP tweet around the same time, and MVP was basically saying that, hey, people kind of need to chill out. Don't jump all over this thing because there's stuff going on that nobody knows about. And people were, because when the race thing was introduced, it split the fan base. There was a lot of people who said WWE is not racist. They gave him a job, and so and such and such. And then there was other people who were like, oh, Saba Simba, Kamala, Crime Time, WWE is racist. Everybody knows they're racist. It's the usual dichotomy you get with the WWE. Is that, when somebody makes this activist type of statement, people quick to jump on each side. So, but there were a lot of people, black wrestlers especially, that were kind of downplaying this situation, where they would say, like, I don't like the shirt, which I also did not like the shirt. As a black man, I hated that shirt. That shirt fucking sucked. It sucked as a design in general, before we even get to the fact that it was a Sambo shirt, which it was. I mean, and I can also understand that if the shirt had not had a black background, if it was a white shirt instead of a black shirt, nobody would have noticed and nobody would have cared. If the shirt would have been green, nobody would have cared. But because the shirt was black, it looked like a Sambo mouth, and that is some really horrible shit, and I would have gone public if they refused to change it. But if they were offering to change the shirt, and if they had changed the shirt, then I don't see what the big deal was. But ultimately, this ended up with ACH quitting. He just up and quit. Somehow people say, like, you can't get out of these WWE contracts. He got out of it. He got out of it in like 8 days. Okay, so the next story is also from Uprocks. ACH has been released from WWE and says he's saving another WWE superstar. After a controversy involving a t-shirt design reminiscent of blackface, ACH, known in NXT as Jordan Miles, quit WWE and announced that he was returning to the independent circuit. While both ACH and WWE have yet to confirm whether he, unlike other wrestlers who have recently tried to quit the company, will be released from his contract, ACH has already been announced for indie dates. Now, he did end up getting released. His tweet was, hey, Vince McMahon, you can't hold me down anymore. This is for the wrestling culture. And then for the first of these is for heavy metal wrestling and his indie dates. The first of these is for heavy metal wrestling in his home state of Texas, facing Chandler Hopkins. He also has been announced for Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment event on December the 1st. It's unclear if he'll be wrestling on that one, though. The promotional tweet doesn't mention a match, but says that ACH will be at the Squad Goals on December the 1st at District Atlanta, the Wrestling Revolver, the Iowa base, blah, 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 blah. This is all about his indie dates. But as he's promoting a return to the indies, ACH has also tweeted that he looks like a promise to get another WWE superstar out of his contract. In response to a tweet from Big Swole wishing him well, ACH replied that he is saving your hubby too. Her husband, Cedric Alexander, retweeted this. Alexander previously expressed solidarity with ACH by using the hashtag for the culture in what is currently his pinned tweet. I guess at the time, this was Cedric Alexander's pinned tweet. This was after Cedric Alexander left. This was after his push. Like, he had this, that short push he had with facing AJ Styles and all that type of stuff, and it didn't work out. So then he was kind of got buried a little bit. So he was working on main event a lot, but this is the kind of stuff that you had going on at the time. There was this incredible rift in the WWE. And I remember people was tweeting Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, just constantly tweeting these guys, like harassing them on Twitter. Big E, all of them. Y'all guys need to do something. Y'all need to stand up for ACH, and they were quiet. And that should tell you something. And this was before he went off on Jay Lethal. They were kind of quiet about this whole situation. And those guys they're professionals. You know, if they had a problem, they take it to Vince in an office somewhere. I mean, they talked about this all the time on their little podcast and on Twitter and stuff like that. If they have a problem, they go to the office. ACH had a problem, he went to the internet, and it became like this really big ordeal. But let's continue the story. Another story from what's this one from E-Wrestling. NXT Jordan Miles makes MLW return as Super ACH, shoots on Jay Lethal locker room brawl and WWE racism issues. Former NXT superstar Jordan Miles officially signed and debuted with Major League Wrestling as Super ACH this week, and shortly after he spilled his guts about a number of controversial topics on social media. After parting ways with WWE following a very ugly public dispute, and immediately after the news broke of his MLW signing, Super ACH spilled his guts on social media about a past locker room brawl with Jay Lethal, his racism beef with WWE, and the controversial t-shirt design, the unexpected sudden MLW release of Teddy Hart, as well as why he considers the ROH locker room to be the worst time in his career. MLW.com issued a following statement to formally announce the signing of Super ACH after his debut at MLW Opera Cup 2019 tapings in Queens. This would be the only match he would ever have in recent MLW. It absolutely, he had one match, and then, well, we'll get to it. Shortly after the announcement, ACH took to social media to take part in a Twitter Q&A with pro wrestling fans. During the Q&A, ACH revealed a ton of details about his past brawl with Jay Lethal, his racism issues with WWE, and t-shirt design. Featured below are some of the highlights of the more noteworthy tweets from ACH during that time out of his Twitter Q&A on Friday. Let's see. He said, I asked to leave both promotions. Hated working for a grown man who didn't have the balls to even look me in my eye and tell me the truth. Hunter Johnston was delirious, one of the, I guess, the bookers of ACH. Even leaked a private meeting we had to the dirt sheets. WWE, you know the story. So he says, so till to this day, I'll say it loud and clear. I don't like him. I never will. Stop asking me to apologize. This is him talking about Jay Lethal. Stop asking me to apologize for whatever I've said, and I won't ever. ROH locker was the worst time in my career for me. I'm over it. I don't care to talk about it. I'll do whatever in my powers. He's also said, to make sure I've never ever belittled, embarrassed, or bullied again. No, I'm not crazy. I don't need to chat with a doctor. I'm completely happy. I have a crush on Kyla Braxton. I'm far from fine and good. I'm super. Tomorrow is my birthday, so I'm focused on that. Holla. He then later said, in my best interest, Jimmy Jacobs, a person who I respect, was the reason I felt I had to. When I went to Lethal, he never apologized to me for putting his hands on me. All he did was tell me how he's felt with racism, etc., but not once did he ever say, my bad for hitting you. Then he says, Lethal slapped me in a hotel room because he didn't like me using the N-word, which he uses as well. He tried to pull my bitch card in front of the locker room, but I defended myself. I hit him back and took him down. And I was told I had to apologize for it because it would be, and then it cuts off. And he's asked about the t-shirt. He said, when I sent out a counter design, Baker told me that Triple H didn't like it and it wasn't his vision of me, and the design that got released was. When I approached Triple H, he was under the impression that I okayed it. The real enemy in this whole situation is Baker. He lied to me. So Baker is some middleman in WWE marketing, some goof in the marketing department. I said, so he says also, where I'm from, that word nigger, or nigga, whatever, isn't to belittle anyone. That's how my culture and how we communicate. If he would have pulled me to the side and spoke to me like an adult, rather than trying to belittle me in front of others, I would have listened. Going into ROH, I was excited to be around Lethal just because he was another African American who I thought was awesome, I could look up to. But after he hit me, I saw that how he reacted towards others. I lost all respect for him. He said, me calling someone my N-word is completely different and something most people don't understand. That's how I talk. If anyone African-American, for starters, if he's black, why the fuck is he using African-American? I fucking hate that appellation. We have to get rid of that shit. But he's correct, of course, that if you're black, you say nigga all the time. I mean, it's just, I don't know why. It's just how we talk. If anyone African-American told me they didn't like the word, I stopped using it out of respect. True that. I would too. The reason he hit me was because he didn't find it funny. So let that sink in. Another one. You can do whatever you want, but you'll never ever silence me or my opinion on how I feel that the shirt made me feel. If you could walk a mile in my shoes, you'd have a problem trying to put them on before you could even take a step foot in them. Okay, so this is from e-wrestling. So there's got to be another. So look, it just started being so much shit, right? It just started being so much shit. So he had the one match in MLW, and then he immediately fucking quit. He retired from wrestling. ACH, this is from e-wrestling. ACH Jordan Miles announces retirement. I'm canceling my shows. I'm quitting pro wrestling. Now, this is after he's left the WWE, by the way. So he's working the indies. It's not really working out. He goes to MLW, which probably could have been a good fit, because MLW is full of, they